I grew up on Preston Heights right over here, right? And we would, not only were we the last stop for the bus, for the school bus to go into town over the old Preston Bridge, but we would walk across and get down to the river on this section. McCrae Road right here, over the river from us. You know, we were able to go over the Preston Bridge, and that was kind of a continuation of this whole section, which is a beautiful part of the county and right outside of Cloverdale. But because the Preston Bridge went away, this became a forgotten corner, right? Can't access the bridge here. If you go along the freeway on that side, it's kind of this weird buck around. This road is bad, but it connects, as we know, on this kind of loop all around Cloverdale. So for me, this is just a beautiful homecoming. The fact that when I first got elected, we sat together darn near 10 years ago, and we started to look, Steve started to look at opportunities up here to get the land figured out, Caltrans, who owned it, what we were doing to be able to invest in this. And Bert and Steve came to me after they were able to figure out and secure the actual plot, the land, and highlighted this as an opportunity through the parks bond at the state level to be able to prioritize for funding. And we've always had this vision that we wanted to pull all the access, the public access and goodness that's on the lower river and get it into the mid-reach up here. This is a huge issue of really equity, access, public space, being able to enjoy this. And then strangely, the two areas where we have parks on the river are actually areas where having active use is important for everything from veg management to homeless encampment management to a litany of other issues.
We were excited. This project, we're calling it the Russian River Parkway right now, and we're essentially one of 3 locations where the public will be able to come out here, have safe parking, have quality access down to the river, have facilities available to have those incredible experiences. And you do a fantastic job overviewing it, but as we look at the park system across the county, and specifically along the Russian River, the situation's a little bit different up here than some other parts of the county. There's lots of areas where it's very limited at public access because of private property. And when this opportunity started being evaluated, it was like, yeah, we've got this existing community asset that is being utilized at some level, but it's actually got a long ways to go as far as being the kind of environment where we really have people coming in having those experiences again and again. It's also, this particular project is a key part of the Russian River Water Trail. The experience to be able to go down, essentially get dropped off, float down and get picked up and return back to your car. We're super excited about it. It's probably about a year, hopefully the build season of next year, of actually the improvements that the public will start seeing out here. In the meantime, we've done a ton of work the last 2 years to really get this property cleaned up. I don't know how many thousands of pounds of trash have been removed, but it's a lot. Many cars and other things. So we've really been kind of keeping an eye on this place and sustaining the use that is here and really getting it ready for the future. That's going to be just an awe-inspiring experience to come out here and check out the beaches and float down.
So the Russian River Water Trail is a coordinated series of launch and landings, basically, that tie the whole river together. And you need a launch and a landing every so many miles to connect them all. And so we've been trying to connect the locations. It's about a 66 mile paddle from the county line here all the way out to the ocean. And some people, the high flows, you can do it in 3 days. Slow flows, it might be 6 or 8 days. But really trying to distribute the use and highlight the different areas. A lot of the upper reach is flat and a bit channelized. But you come up here and we have mounds and interesting bedrock and outcrops and a whole diversity of landscapes, and you get much more of a wild experience than some of the areas on the lower reach. And so really trying to showcase the recreational sections, the more wild sections, the town sections going through like the edge of Healdsburg and through the edge of Cloverdale, and the communities are now facing the river and incorporating it more and owning it more. It's just wonderful to see.
If you can think about what we're at and what we're trying to achieve, it goes back to these long trips, right? Probably in 2016, we did something called the Russian River Descent, kind of as part of the Russian River Confluence. And we got a group together of folks and we did the entire 110 plus mile stretch of the Russian River. We did it over the course of 3 different distinct kind of paddles. And so we started at the base of Lake Mendo, right? where the spillway came out. It was kind of like a water slide jumping in there. It jettisoned us out at like 50 miles an hour in the sludge. And then we went down. We did three days to really get down to kind of like not just Hopland, but in between here and Hopland. And we jumped in, and there's this area at Frogwoman Rock down here where there's a bunch of rocks, and then you get into this section here, and from here there's really nothing. We had to paddle at every time 15 plus miles to be able to you know, connect with another spot where we would pull out and put back in. So if you look at it, this is going to be the newest addition to the regional parks portfolio of Sonoma County. We're not really in the business of creating more parks all over the place. We're trying to really, you know, sustain, invest back into the parks that we have, but this one is too good, right? So you go from here, and then on the other side of the river, you get to Cloverdale River Park, which is co-managed with the City of Cloverdale and Sonoma County Regional Parks, and we're putting more investments into there. And then you go down, and we're actually going to be looking at where we're putting in the Asti Bridge, which is a long-term project, having another access point down there, a couple miles down. And then from there, we're looking at developing another one in Geyserville. From there, we have a tribe. The tribe is a partner, the River Rock Tribe, that has one existing spot where you can get in and go out, but they're also interested in their spot down there. Then we have something we invested in jointly with the City of Hillsbury, that's Badger Park, which connects down over to Memorial Beach. And then we've put investments also down into Riverfront Park, River Parkway, River Park, Riverfront Park, over just outside of Windsor, and then we have another Hanson project, and then the Wohler property. So we are legitimately making this happen right now, and it is super cool.
So what we're looking at here, you can see this large area where we'll have a lot of day use parking. There'll be a one way in, one way out, likely to save area. We'll have picnicking on the riverside. We may have self-contained overnight camping in a few spots. We're hoping to have a site host or a couple so we always have a presence in this area. Interpretive information, of course, your usual trash, but permanent restrooms are going to be a welcome addition and help improve water quality. That's desperately needed up this way. And it'll be this will be one of the three main areas along this stretch, and goes down to, as you were pointing out, the former bridge site is just right down there. So your basic amenities to make it safe and welcoming to all types of people and accessible. So gentle trails that go down, and just an inviting place for whether it's for individuals or families or larger groups.
So the 101 bypass is on the other side, and what we're also trying to do is make sure that we don't just do a park improvement, but the commitment from us is to align our roads funding to pave this road, Geysers Road, at the same time that the park would open up or immediately afterwards. You know, our commitment is to pave this road as well, pave Preston and pave McRae Road. And so the idea there is you're not just doing one thing and disconnecting it, but which usually happens in kind of government, right? Somebody says, why didn't you just align that? And it's usually because different pools of money, different funding cycles, other things like that. But we can really look at this, and this is going to be a dynamic section of really the Mendocino County, Sonoma County intersection.
One of the big use patterns here is the joggers, the cyclists, and the walkers all using the road. And it's pretty, it's low volume. And you get all these views going off. And so one of the aspects of our project is developing a walking path parallel, trying to connect these different river access points. So, you know, when the level's up in the winter and it's not really safe to be right at the water's edge, it's still going to be a great place to come and to recreate up and down. And by working with our Public Works Department, with the paving, we're also analyzing the safety of every one of these turnouts so that we don't impact neighbors and not parking on a blind curve, for example. We're also looking at how to decrease the speed, and whether it's just through additional signage, but trying to make the roadway as safe as possible and kind of, like you say, combine all those functions at once.
Well, there's enough space here to do a really good bike and pedestrian section, which is not what we were always able to do with the roads around our parks, right?
That's right.
Sometimes we're really constrained because Sonoma County has a lot of roads built into cliffs. But here, if we do this right, we can do it right for the public. So it's going to be fun. I'd just say the final thing here is that this is really an example of not just taking away kind of some negative elements of what you're dealing with in your community, but actually totally transforming it into positive. Mayor Todd Lands, from Cloverdale and I, this is an area where we've had significant issues with crime, with dumping, with RVs that have actually been here with heavy drug elements, cooking meth. We've had gunshots over here. And so this kind of forgotten area, that's what happens. It starts to fill up with some of the things that you have to try to improve in your community. So one of the things, ironically, that we know is if you want to deal with some of those bad elements, you don't just take those away, you actually add good elements. You add people giving life into an area. You add good management. The other thing is that we have an active partnership with the Cloverdale Rancheria tribe. And so we've had communication with them and good interaction about, their traditional use of an area like this, native plants, other kinds of things. And, we're always in an area where we're trying to honor that in the correct way and create co-management. So
another really interesting aspect is, we're right up on the county line.
yeah.
And when visitors and residents are southbound, they don't always realize that they've crossed over into Sonoma County, and this is kind of our outdoor welcome center in effect. And this is going to be one of the first things people see, one of the first places they go. And so we're looking forward to trying to give a little more identity to the north end of the county and to reveal what's the natural beauty that's already here.